Today we will discuss writing for television news. We all know television is an important medium for news and current affairs related content. And writing is very crucial in television journalism. So we will discuss today writing for television news. First of all, we will discuss the factors which influence the television writing or any type of writing. First is medium. As far as medium is concerned, medium is very important for deciding the writing style. If you are writing for a print medium, the writing style will be different. If you are writing for television, then writing may be different. If you are writing for the online platforms, the writing style may be different. So medium influences a lot any writing style. So medium is one of the most important factor which influence the writing style for any content. So first is your writing should be according to the medium. In our context, the medium is television. Now the second important factor is subject. Subject also influences the writing style of the content. Like if you are writing for the literature, you are writing stories, you are writing novels, you are writing poems, then writing style certainly will be different. If you are writing some research papers, research articles, then writing style will be different. And if you are writing news and current affairs related content, the writing style or the writing will be different. Third factor which is very important, that is the writing should be according to the need and interest of the target audience. We are writing, we are producing programs for any type of medium. We are producing program for our target audience. So our writing should be according to the need and interest of our target audience. We must know the need and interest of our target audience. If in the present context where we are talking about the television news writing, television journalism is today we are living in the era of very tough competition. Hundreds of television news channels are operating in our country, and there is a very tough competition. So every channel is trying to attract more and more eyeballs of the viewers. So viewers' attention is the most precious thing for any television news channel. So this factor is quite important, that a writer should understand the need and interest of their target audience, and accordingly he or she should write. So we discussed these three factors. First is writing should be according to the medium. Second is writing should be according to the subject. And third, writing should be according to the need and interest of the target audience. So our writers, our students, our learners should understand the importance of all these factors, and while writing for television news, they must keep these factors in their minds. Now, the first factor we discussed, that writing should be according to the medium. In this context, the medium is television. We all know television is an audio-visual medium. It has two components, visual and audio. Though television is an audio-visual medium, visual has more importance in television, and audio is playing the supporting role. So television is an audio-visual medium with more focus and emphasis on visual, supported by the audio. So while writing for television news, a writer must understand the strength and limitations of this particular medium, and we should write accordingly. The next thing, that is the visual element. We just discussed that television is an audio-visual medium and it has two components, visuals and audio. Here we can see the visual elements of television news channels. We are talking about in the special context of television news channels. First visual element is video footages. We all know video footages may be of the anchor sitting in the studio. Visual footages may be studio footages, maybe of the panel which are involved in the debate and discussion related program. video footage maybe from the field, from the spot, from where story is coming. So video footage is an important visual element in television news channels. Second important element, visual element, is photographs. In television news channels, we are using photographs also. Many times we are not getting the video footages, moving images. We are using photographs, or many photographs have the very important news value. So those photographs are being used in television news channel. So photograph is the second visual element which is important and which is being used in television news channel. Third visual element is graphics. These days, graphics have emerged as a very important visual element in television news channels. So graphics, you can find a lot of graphics these days on television news screens. Graphics may be the text, graphics may be the charts, graphic may be the different types of animations, and graphics, there are a lot of graphical elements available on the television news screen. If you will see the television news screen, you will find there is a lower third of a screen where you will find a lot of graphic plates like ticker, breaking news flash plate, and other type of graphical plates. As I told you earlier, television is an audiovisual medium. You need something to show, and many times you will not find the actual video footages of the story of the incident, or maybe it may be a negative incident, accident type of thing. So where you will have to manage with the graphics. You can show the animation of the accident or that particular incident. You can show some photographs also. You can show some different type of graphic to explain the incident for which you don't have any video footages. So graphics, as I told, graphics have emerged as very important visual element in television news channels these days. Now the audio elements. As we discussed earlier, audio is also an important element in television news channels. Though television is an audio-visual medium with more focus on visuals, but audio is also playing very important role, supporting role for the visuals. And in the context of television news channels, here is the list of audio elements which are being used in television news channel. First is anchor link. Anchor link is the content spoken by the anchor. Generally, anchor introduces stories and starts the story from the studio, and that is called the anchor link. Second is voiceover. Voiceover is also an important audio element for any television news channel. Voiceover is basically commentary of the visual. There is a audio support for the visuals, and which is not a sound on tape, which is recorded in the studio, and then during the editing that is placed with the visuals. That is called voiceover. So you will find a lot of cases of voiceover on television news channels. We are using voiceovers in our news packages or in many other news formats. Then third is reporter's voice. Reporter is again an important player in any television news channel. So a reporter is providing information, reporter is providing news and reports from the field, and reporter's voice is a very important audio element in the case of television news channels. You can find reporter's voice as a PTC, piece to camera, where in the news packages reporters end the story with some conclusion, and there are a lot of live reporting is also there in television news channels. So in live reporting also, reporter is providing the information, the live information or the live updates of any incident or of any story. Reporter's voice is also a very important audio element for television news channels. Then bite. We all see the bites on television news channels. Bite is basically a piece of a long statement of maybe the related person. In a news package, you can find a lot of bites of the relevant people which are related to that particular story. The bites may be of the politicians, the minister, the officials, the victims, the relative of the victims, eyewitnesses. So bites are, frequently used in, television news channels, and it is basically a piece of statement or interview, a piece of information or, spoken words taken from the long statement or interview of the respondent. So bite is also an important element, audio element in television news channels. Next is guest's voice. Guest voice, these days you can see that a lot of debate discussion programs are going on television channels. Guests are coming, different experts are coming, and they are expressing their own opinion. So guest's voice is also an important element of audio element of for television news channels. Then sound effects. Generally in earlier days, sound effects or background music, these elements were not considered useful for the news production. But now we all know that in this age of competition, packaging is very important. And packaging, brings many other elements, other types of elements which were not allowed in the older age, in the earlier age. And sound effects, background musics are one of them. So nowadays you can find a lot of sound effects, background music in news programs also. So these were the elements, audio elements, which are being used in any television news channels: anchor link, voiceover, reporter's voice, bite, guest's voice, sound effects. In earlier slides, we discussed the various visual and audio components, audio elements, which are being used in television news channel. But all the elements are not required to be written. Here we are discussing writing for television, so it's important to know which elements are required to be written, where writing is required. If we talk about the debate discussion program, writing is not required there. The guests are, telling their own opinion, expressing their own opinion. That is not required to be written. Like in interviews also, the writing is not required. So for many elements, writing is not required. So here we should know about the elements for which writing is required. And first is anchor link. We can see the anchor link is required to be written. Anchor link, as I discussed earlier, the content spoken by the anchor. Anchor generally starts this story, introduces the story, and that anchor link is required to be written. Second one is voiceover. Voiceover is also required to be written. Writing is required in voiceover. In voiceover writing, we will have to keep many things in our mind, and those steps or those important things we will discuss in coming session. So voiceover is required to be written. And third is PTC. PTC, as we discussed earlier, piece to camera. And piece to camera is a type of concluding remark of the reporter for any news story. Generally in news package, reporter concludes the story with PTC, and you will find reporter standing on the spot. So PTC is quite important for news channels because it brings credibility to the news report. If television news channels are showing some story of a particular place, during PTC, reporter stands on that particular spot, and it brings credibility. Yes, report is coming from the ground zero. Some reporter is there and he is providing information from that particular spot. So PTC is quite important, and PTC is required to be written. Writing is required in PTC. Generally, reporters write their own PTCs. Next is graphics. Graphics, as we discussed earlier also, graphics, these days you will find a lot of graphics on television news channels. So it may be breaking news, it may be news ticker or crawler or the graphic plates. So you will find a lot of text on screen, and there is a writing involved in those text. So graphics also needs to be written in many cases, like ticker, breaking news, headlines, and other things. Television news channels broadcast different types of program formats. And here you can find the list of some important program formats. First is anchor visual, and second is anchor graphics. Anchor visual and anchor graphics. Anchor visual means it's a news format where anchor is telling the story and visuals are running on the screen. This is the anchor visual format. Anchor starts the story and keep telling the story, and you will find visuals. Initially you will find the studio visuals, and after that you will find the visuals related to that story. These visuals may be the current visuals or maybe the file visuals according to the availability of the visuals. So anchor visual is a program format where anchor is telling the story and visuals of that particular story or incident are running on the television screen. Similarly, anchor graphics, in the case of anchor graphics, anchor is involved, anchor is telling the story, and in many cases it is possible that the channel that doesn't have visuals, the current visuals. In those cases they are using graphics also, because if they will show continuously anchor standing or sitting in the studio and reading the news, it will be monotonous. So they want something to show, and if they don't have visuals, they are using graphics. They can even use the texts also. Anchor is saying something and the same text is coming on the graphic plates, or they can produce some graphics, some charts or some animation type of things also it can be shown. So anchor graphics means the program format which contains anchor and graphics. Anchor is telling the story and graphics are running on the screen. So there is no other elements like byte, voiceover, is PTC involved in these type of news formats. So news anchor visuals and anchor graphics, these are the very popular news formats these days you will find on television news screens. Third is news package. News package is a small complete capsule type of format which contains almost all the components, all the elements of a television news. Like in a news package you will find anchor link, then you will find visuals followed by supported by the voiceover, then you will find bytes, then you will find another VO, then you will find again byte, then you will find the third VO, and it may be followed by a byte, and the PTC is also there. So news package is a complete capsule which contains almost all the elements of television news. Graphics can also be used in the news package. At some places they can use visuals, at some places they can use the relevant graphics also. So news package is a complete small capsule which contains all the elements of television news. Then 3, news feature, documentary and docudrama. All three formats are comparatively the longer formats: news features, documentary and docudrama. We will discuss about these formats and writing for these formats in coming session, and especially I want to mention here the docudrama. Docudrama, these days you will find a lot of docudramas on television news channels, especially on the Hindi news channels, where they are using some drama element, like they are recreating the scenes. Like you can find a lot of docudramas on wars related docudramas, or docudramas based on some political events, or some our freedom fighter heroes also. You will find a lot of docudramas. Like docudrama is different from documentary. Like if there is a docudrama on Subhash Chandra Bose, and the producer want to show the discussion between Subhash Chandra Bose and Mahatma Gandhi, or Subhash Chandra Bose and Adolf Hitler. So those scenes they are recreating those scenes, and they are using the actors also. And that's why docudrama is a little bit different from the documentary, and it has some entertainment element also. and the news channels, especially Hindi news channels, are using many docudramas in their programming. Then the other program formats like debate discussion, interview based program, these are the expert based program where the external experts are there and they are expressing their views, and a lot of writing is not involved in debate discussion program and interview based program. The last one is other programs. As we discussed earlier, these days a very tough competition is faced by all the television news channels, and they are trying to attract more and more viewers by innovating different type of programs. And other programs, in other program category, you will find different type of programs like some spoofs also. You can find quizzes also on television news channel. You can find Kavi Sammelan type of program also with political satire and all that. So television news channels are continuously innovating with the program formats, and to attract more and more viewers, they are using different new program formats also. Like these days, you can find a lot of fast news bulletin, speed news bulletin, and in speed news bulletin they are giving very short news stories, and a lot of news stories they are covering in a single bulletin of 15 minutes or half an hour, or some bulletins are of 1 hour also. So they are just giving 1 to 2 sentences for these news stories, especially in the case of Hindi news channels. These channels, trying to incorporate or try to accommodate the stories from the small cities, small towns, district level towns of the Hindi belt, and that's why they need some format where they can include more and more stories, because the broadcast time is fixed, that is 24 hours, and the whole country they will have to accommodate. So if they want to accommodate the smaller towns, the district level towns, they are using these type of speed news and fast news bulletin programs, and in those programs you will find the anchor visual and anchor graphics format. So we discussed here the different formats of the television news program. Thank you very much.